A Democratic state legislator used his legal immunity to get out of a speeding ticket. Legal? Sure. Was it ethical?
I think I got my win. I wanted to see if it worked, and it did.
A right-wing activist tells us he was responsible for those racist signs put up in Denver. Now the question is whether he'll be arrested. A tiny town fights a plan for an enormous cell tower. A third of the residents showed up to talk to Next.
In a town this size, a 190-foot tall tower is going to be visible essentially by everybody.
And we end this Friday, as we always do, in search of our neighbor's good news. This time, took a bit of a drive. A beautiful drive. Tonight on Next. Those photo radar vans hand stacks and stacks of speeding tickets to Coloradans each year, except for 100 people who are immune for part of each year. They're state legislators. They can get free if they choose to exploit the legal loophole. One Democrat from Denver was almost gleeful to break the law and get away with it. Politics guy Marshall Zellinger has that story.
State legislators make the laws, and in some cases, state legislators are above the laws.
I could totally see the critique. This is a little tacky. Not everyone gets to invoke this type of thing.
This type of thing is a constitutional privilege given to state lawmakers, the kind Democratic State Representative Stephen Woodrow invoked in court earlier this month when he challenged this $40 photo radar ticket for going 48 miles per hour in a 30 on South Lincoln at Dakota Avenue. 9 News Investigates got a hold of the transcript of that court hearing.
Page 3, line 15. I believe that we might have legislative privilege. That's why I pleaded not guilty to this. I wanted to see what the actual net result would be if someone actually ever asserted this. I get 1 or 2 of these tickets a year and just pay them. But on this one, I thought it might be fun to actually go challenge.
What allowed him, one of 100 people in the state, to be able to challenge this speeding ticket? Article 5, Section 16 of the Colorado Constitution.
The members of the General Assembly shall, in all cases, except treason or felony, be privileged from arrest during their attendance at the sessions of their respective houses or any committee thereof, and in going to and returning from the same, and for any speech or debate in either house, or any committees thereof. They shall not be questioned in any other place. It was an exciting morning in court. I should have probably given you a heads up so you could have come seen it live in action.
Do you think people, when they hear a state lawmaker got out of a $40 photo radar ticket because they're a state lawmaker, do you think they'll find that exciting?
Oh, sure. Everyone hates photo radar enforcement.
But not everyone can use their job to get out of it. Woodrow was ticketed at 12:47 p.m., 2 miles from the state capitol. His photo radar ticket shows his legislative parking pass, and he said he was on his way back to work for a committee that started at 1:30. Though that specific day in April, the committee started at 2:28. Not that he knew that when he was speeding, but certainly when he told the judge legislative privilege.
I was fully prepared to lose.
Why are state lawmakers allowed to avoid arrest to and from work except for treason and felonies in the first place?
You don't want, for example, a local sheriff to be able to stop somebody from voting in favor of a piece of legislation they disagree with by going out and arresting representatives.
Constitutional law attorney Christopher Jackson said this carve-out for state lawmakers is meant to protect the people who voted them into office.
If a legislator is arrested, then the people who that person is elected to represent, they don't have any representation in the General Assembly, while that arrest occurs.
Since you won, does that mean as long as you're a lawmaker, I'm taking this to a judge because I'm not going to pay that $40?
No, I think I got my win. I wanted to see if it worked, and it did. I'm not looking to get other photo radar tickets on my way to the Capitol. If anything, now I drive more slowly.
For Next, I'm Marshall Zellinger.
Woodrow told us that part of the reason he claimed legal immunity is because he was being shadowed by a high school student that day and wanted to spice up their experience. Aurora Mayor Mike Kaufman says their city attorney is going to ask a municipal judge to declare a criminal nuisance at several apartment complexes where a Venezuelan gang has been extorting and harassing residents. They're asking for an emergency order to clear out those properties. Kaufman said this afternoon they're putting together the paperwork to go before the judge while police continue to work at those apartments and make arrests. Yesterday, Mayor Kaufman, in a rare joint interview with Denver's mayor right here on Next, said that the issue with this Venezuelan gang is serious, but it's isolated to a few apartments where Aurora police are working to disrupt the gang's activities. Kaufman says the issues are only at properties owned by one landlord group, which he has described as out-of-state slumlords. A Republican activist is claiming responsibility for the racist street signs put up in Denver, saying that he did it because of news reports about that Venezuelan gang in the metro area. He tells me that he has been contacted by police. Now, Denver's police chief wouldn't talk about that today, as the police chief gathered with community leaders to denounce acts of hate.
Something that I know and hopefully everybody else in this community knows, that this is not the Denver that we will accept. Right. This is not the Denver. This is not the Denver we love.
Police Chief Ron Thomas says investigators are reviewing camera footage and other evidence, promising to have the quote-unquote despicable individual in custody soon. DPD is treating this as a bias-motivated hate crime.
I'm a Republican. I've always been a Republican.
A MAGA activist who calls himself Sabo is taking responsibility for the racist signs aimed at dividing the black and migrant communities and targeting Kamala Harris. He calls himself a street artist. His work has ended up in the news for years. It was being sold by the Ted Cruz for President campaign in 2016 until Sabo's history of racism surfaced.
Yeah, all these Venezuelans are in here, and the cops aren't doing either.
On a live stream this week, he used a racial slur for a Latino reporter in Denver and talked about which nationalities of Latinos he would shoot in an armed conflict.
I'll die a man of peace if I can help it. But if a civil war breaks out and the Guatemalans and the Ecuadorians are like coming over the fence and stuff like that, it is straight up target practice.
Sabo also took responsibility for identical racist signs posted outside a fried chicken restaurant near the Democratic National Convention in Chicago. He told us he plans to put up more of them.
RTD, for its part, says it's been working with transit agencies in Chicago and elsewhere to, quote, assess the magnitude of the coordinated racist activity. So there's a small town in Saguache County, MappDOT, blink and you missed it kind of place. It could soon get an enormous new landmark that no one would miss. And locals are furious. So there are about 30 people who live in Villa Grove year-round. It's on the road from Salida to Alamosa, one of my favorite drives in the state. Do it if you can. When our Mark Salinger went down to talk to people about the plans for the big old cell tower, a whole bunch of the town showed up to explain why they're against it.
Now, our lawyer is waiting for all the evidence to come to him.
There's not usually a lot of news in Villa Grove.
Probably I'd say when the gas station and everything changed hands over across the street. It's been a long time.
So we don't have a lot in Villa Grove. We have pottery, pot, a post office, and upholstery.
We don't want to go to court
Half
with
the people who lived here showed up to Paula Mays' house
a cell phone tower that's going in.
when she spread the word that we wanted to hear about the talk of the town.
So how do you guys feel about the cell phone tower?
And we don't need a 195-foot tower sitting there. We don't.
It'd be just over across the road.
It will change the face of our tiny little historic town.
Just unnecessary.
Intrusive.
Nefarious.
Ugly. Real ugly. Nothing pretty about it.
Saguache County commissioners paved the way this month for a 195-foot tall communications tower to be built in this field on the edge of town. The people who live here worry about how close it is to the homes they've lived in for much of their lives.
I haven't done enough studies to know if it's going to radiate me or anything, but if it is, I'm not for it.
Even our trees, which are the tallest things in town, are only about 60 foot.
There you go. Marquita just called me.
Commissioners say it would help with cell phone service.
Everybody's got cell phone reception in this area. Many miles of it.
$49 Walmart phone, that works great. I get good reception. $49.
If it provides better cell service in the area, then I'm all for it.
Alan Yarmark runs the pottery shop in town. He's one of the few we found who actually wants the tower.
The people that are in direct line of sight don't want it. The people that aren't in the line of sight don't really care.
We just don't want it to be in town. We're not against the tower, just not in town.
Philip,
anyhow,
Paula,
take the tower outside of town.
And almost a third of the town are now suing the county commissioners to stop the tower from being built.
I've never sued anyone in my life, but I feel strongly enough about this that I stood up and will continue to stand up as long as it takes.
Like big headlines, fights like this aren't common here.
Nothing much has changed in my 44 years of being here, and that's part of the charm. that's the way we would like it to stay.
Paula and her neighbors are coming together to try and save the Villa Grove they've loved for decades.
Okay. God, I know.
So we wanted to talk to the Saguache County Commissioners about why they approved the cell phone tower, even after more than half the town showed up to commission meetings to speak out against it. Their attorney told me that they will not be speaking with us, Kyle.
So I'm thinking about Villa Grove, and the only thing
small town.
that I really know about it is it's on a great drive down south, and that's where they moved that big country music festival.
Exactly. So I wanted to know, is that country music festival involved in all of this? Of course, the commissioners won't answer that. Everybody involved, everybody who spoke to us there in the town said, we don't think that the country music festival is a part of this, but think about it. This cell phone tower has a 5-mile radius. It's not very far. So if everybody in the town says we don't want it, there's not a whole lot of people further outside of town, 5 miles out. We still don't know exactly why the county commissioner said, yes, more cell phone service, whether you like it or not.
That's really interesting. All right, Stay on it, Mark. Thank you. A shower is a powerful refresher, even for those of us who never wonder when we'll be able to take our next one. The nonprofit Showers for All brings that to Coloradans who are living in their cars and in the streets of the metro area. So we're helping them expand their work through this week's Word of Thanks microgiving campaign. Their shower and laundry trailers are currently making regular stops in Denver and Arvada. They have provided 20,000 showers and loads of laundry for people in need. The funds that we raise will help equip those trailers to run on renewable energy, and what that means is that'll open up new locations which currently do not have suitable power hookups. Shower, clean clothes, we know that can be the difference between getting a job, keeping a job, even just staying healthy, and it gives people a chance to make today a day that they move in a positive direction in life. Scan the QR code on your screen or text the word thanks to 303-871-1491 to get a link to join me in donating to Showers for All. More than 3,000 of you have superpowered our weekly campaigns through a monthly donation to the Word of Thanks Fund. That's meant that we have started your recent microgiving campaigns with $22,000 in donations each week. Use that same QR code or text to get there. The Colorado Republican Party's civil war continues this weekend, but this one has the feel of the Battle of Appomattox Courthouse, as in one side is about to lose, and very soon.
I don't know what other kind of big news I have.
Come on now, think hard, you two. What is your good news? We will find it at high altitude next. In what's becoming a weekly tradition, Republican leaders in Colorado will meet over the weekend to pick a new leader. Maybe Chairman Dave Williams claims that last weekend's vote to replace him with another maybe chairman was illegal. That other maybe chairman, Eli Bremer, says tomorrow's vote is illegal. What a mess. It's headed to court. This weekend's meeting is called by Williams and his allies in an attempt to hold on to party leadership against what they say is a coup. A number of high-profile Republicans, including several candidates for office and the Republican Congressional Committee on the national level, have committed to working with the new folks. They're done with Williams. Former El Paso County GOP Chair Eli Bremer has been voted in as the new party chair at last weekend's meeting. He told us this week that he and his supporters are moving forward regardless of what Williams and his supporters say. Now, Williams says that he will respect the results of tomorrow's vote, even if he's removed. But let's be honest. Given what happened last weekend, when just Bremer's folks show up, it's likely this weekend only Williams' supporters will show.
A beautiful Friday and a terrific holiday weekend coming up weather-wise. More blue skies, light winds, lots of sunshine. Temperatures today above the average of 85. We started at a chilly 50 degrees. Our high today right around 87. Winds are increasing out of the south and southeast, but for the most part, it is a dry afternoon and evening, and we'll see this all over again, not just Saturday, but Sunday and for the holiday Monday as well. As a matter of fact, any moisture we're tracking will produce isolated gusty storms along the Colorado-New Mexico line with a chance for showers across Texas and Louisiana, and that's where we'll see those travel impacts from the rain. Mid-80s now, dropping 10 degrees after sunset and your 7-day planner. How about low 90s with sunshine Saturday, upper 80s Sunday, low 90s with dry weather for the holiday Monday and Tuesday. Showers are back in the forecast the end of next week, along with a nice cooling trend. Highs in the low 80s next Thursday and Friday.
The bad news is that it's going to be closed for the next year
Hold on, we don't go looking for bad news. We're not that channel. This is the channel where we end the week with your good news. So you better come up with it next. If you want to take the easy route up Mount Blue Sky, formerly Evans, now's your chance. The road to the summit is closing in early September. It will stay closed for repairs through early 2026. We got in a last-minute drive to find some Coloradans and ask our favorite Friday question. What's your good news?
So the bad news is that it's going to be closed for the next year until May of 2026. The good news is that you're going to have a smooth, fresh road surface.
We're heading to Big Sky.
Please do not go near wildlife. Although they're cute, they will hurt you.
My good news is that I am retired and enjoying just a great time in Colorado with my wife, and we've been looking forward to taking this trip for many, many years.
My good news is that this weekend I finally sent the rock climb that I was working on all summer, which is the Audubon to Arapahoe Indian Peaks Traverse plus the Kasparov Traverse in a row. I ended up being out there for like 23 hours total. I ended up walking the wrong way off of the final peak for about 8 hours.
Even though we're on the verge of middle age, we're still able to walk and hike and enjoy this beautiful, spectacular natural scene.
We've had steady moisture and we're coming out of stage 2 fire restrictions.
My good news is I get to marry my best friend and the love of my life.
My good news is I get to marry the love of my life as well.
Big news is our day's going well.
You ever drive that road? The goats, they like come right up to your car. They put their heads like right in the windows because people feed them crackers. You're not supposed to do that. We have your feedback and a sign of inspiration tailor-made for next viewers. Next. It's a sign that your feedback inspires. It inspired me not long ago to go for a run to prove a viewer wrong who fell for a conspiracy theory that our wildfire coverage was fake. It inspired that viewer, Brad, to write back to say he enjoyed the joke and it changed his opinion. And we celebrated that together as a model to aspire to, taking a joke and changing our minds when we learn new info. That tagline, we use that. Brad is now up on the wall in a 7th grade class at Jeffco's Manning School of Academics and Arts. The teacher, Chrissy, says she wants her social studies students to be flexible thinkers with a growth mindset in life. And they have used that example from Next and Brad, is how to do it. See, Brad, man, you set the example because you are willing to have a flexible mindset. The world would change if more people were like that. Lori writes, why would you give voice to the person who put out those horribly racist signs? Don't give him any oxygen. I respectfully disagree. I think people need to see and hear what they are up against, so it can't be sanitized, it can't be pushed aside. When you hear it and you recoil, that's important. See you next time.